Box. I have a vinyl unboxing video for you today, but before we start with that, I want to say thank you so much. I just reached 100 subscribers. That's not really too much, but I'm happy that in my first year of making videos I got to that with how few videos I made this year. Really hope to up that and increase that amount going into the next year, but thank you for anyone that subscribed and commented and liked these videos continuously. Yes, so here we go. I've got the self-titled record, first record from a hard rock, psychedelic, you could say stoner rock band, really heavy metal, as in 70s heavy metal, like Black Sabbath, bands like that, Deep Purple, Steppenwolf, AC/DC, who are fellow Aussies. This band is from Australia, so it's another great psychedelic band from Australia. This is their self-titled record, and this record really for me, it holds a special place in my heart because in about 7th grade it was really one of the first albums that I was introduced to that I fell in love with as an album. This was one of the, before this I was listening to mixes that my sister made with maybe like an Usher song and an Outkast song and In Sync or something. So this was the first album that I came to appreciate as a full album, and the first time I experienced the album as a work of art in itself and as a medium. So not only that, but I was listening to bands like Led Zeppelin. And I remember one day in school, I think a lot of kids go through this phase of liking classic rock in middle school for some reason, at least in my generation. But for me, one day I decided to wear a Led Zeppelin shirt to school. And before that, I was a kid that wore, I was in 6th grade, 5th grade, I was a kid that was kind of in that jock prep crowd, and I would wear Abercrombie shirts, American Eagle shirts, but I wore a Led Zeppelin shirt, and that was a big, it's funny, I completely switched social groups almost, and really a lot of that was just on appearance, which is pretty hilarious. But yeah, and I remember kids coming up to me and asking if I knew any Led Zeppelin songs, and I did, because I was really into that band, and I thought that they blew my mind. It was the first band that I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. I love music and I'm gonna love it forever. And Wolfmother, even though they're not an older band, they were really the first modern band that had that really accessible rock sound, and the first band that I really fell in love with that was a modern rock band. So yeah, really near and dear to my heart. The first time I played live in front of people, it was the song Joker and the Thief from this album. So this is still an album that's just completely mesmerizing to me. Yeah, so I'm going to get into the actual unboxing because that's what you clicked on this video for. Alright, I tore it open in advance because it took forever and I didn't want to be ripping stuff open here. Here we go. Oh, sweet. Look at that. This album cover is actually, it's called The Sea Witch. It's a painting by Frank, I think his name's Franzetta, last name. Mid-20th century painter. And I think it really goes along with the album. The imagery I just think is really apt for the music on the album. Just this epic sound and picture here. Of course, a naked woman. I remember some of my friends were like, they'd have to like hide this album cover from their parents. Oh, I hate ripping off this plastic, jeez. There's always a slight fear that when you open a record, it's it's either not going to be a record or it's going to be like makeup or photography stuff for my wife, and then I'm going to end up talking about that, or it's going to be the wrong record. But luckily this is Wolfmother by Wolfmother, and we're on track here. Like I said, this is hard rock, psychedelic rock. This band really rose to popularity very quickly with singles like Woman. I think they actually won a Grammy for that, so they were that big right when this album came out. And also songs like Mind's Eye, which is another that my band covered. Joker and the Thief, like I said. White Unicorn was one that's definitely one of my favorites on the album. So this band, it's pretty rare that a band just explodes with their first album, but this was one where they did. I think a lot of their songs were on, I remember, movie trailers and even commercials and TV shows. So they really were all over the place just because this music, it's undeniable. It's just instantaneous and hooks you right away. Yeah, so for me at the time, even though I look back and I just listened to this album for the first time in 6 or 7 years a couple days ago, just to prepare myself because I knew I was going to get this. And I realize now that it's pretty corny and it sounds very similar to a lot of albums, and the sound is very much copied. They use a lot of the same intervals throughout the songs and musical kind of tropes that they rely on. Like one of the intervals, like they're doing like dun 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 dun. It's like in every song is that interval, and but nonetheless, at the time for me, this was revolutionary. This was fresh. This was new. This is something I'd never heard before, and so I completely loved it, and I still do when I hear it. It just brings me back to that time. But also, I think it was time in history for bands to bring back sort of that old school, Black Sabbath sound, that sound, with these really memorable but very simple riffs. And this album definitely has that. Andrew Stockdale, the lead singer's voice, kind of sounds like a guitar. It has this really, he's a high tenor, and it has this very like electric quality. And even on songs like Where Eagles Have Been or Vagabonds, the softer songs, it still has this very frontman-esque, rock star quality to it. And also their aesthetic as a whole, this band. Andrew Stockdale had a fro. I remember their bassist would swing around his bass and like jam on the piano, and the piano would be like moving around stage. It wouldn't be like secured in one spot. So they're really, just to a 7th grader, this was like the coolest band ever. And yeah, I'm going to show you the packaging now. So, cover, amazing cover, love it. I think this cover was banned in like certain stores, and like if you go to like Walmart, you'll see just a black cover with this logo, this Wolfmother logo. So you got the back here. This is a gatefold. It had to be, and you got all the lyrics in here with more of the painting. This painting was actually bigger than the front cover, but I don't know how well you can see that, but I'll just show these again. And let's take out the vinyl. It is a single, no, it's a double. Okay, good. Alright, so you've got paper sleeves, but they are poly vinyl layered on the inside, so that's good. I won't have to replace them. We got just black vinyl. Got, again, just that label. Sweet. So yeah, that's it. Knew I had to get this repress, even though it would be really cool to have the first pressing, but that's not going to happen, and I don't want to spend that money. And this works for me, so I'm pretty happy about it. So let me know what you think of this video. I'm going to do a Red Hot Chili Peppers Stadium Arcadium vinyl unboxing as well. As soon as I get that, I don't know when that's actually coming. I think it's been kind of pushed back a ways, but that's another album that for me was really in my formative years, so if you like that album, check out that as well. Not a whole lot else to show with this one. I think you got it all. It's black vinyl. You kind of get the picture. This was on Modular Records. I'm also going to make a review of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard's new album, Paper Mache Dream Balloon, which I'm really liking a lot. So that'll be soon as well. So thank you for sticking around for this really lengthy video. I usually do multiple takes, so it's kind of a little awkward to do just one take, but thanks for sticking with me, and see you later.